Hi there, I'm Ann Noser, and this is my contribution to the Read Around the World experiment. I'm reading from Rochester, Minnesota. I'm reading from Andrew Buckley's Death, the Devil, and the Goldfish. And we'll see how this goes because I have a couple helpers here, and I will get started right away. This had been happening to Death all day. The problem with being an angel is that as a defense to the heavenly realm, anyone who saw an angel or talked to one would later forget the encounter completely, leaving only the slightest echo that anything ever happened. The only exception to the rule was the messenger angels, where memory retention was rather important. And so the waitress was constantly forgetting Death's drink orders. This made it difficult to just sit and relax, as he had to keep walking to the bar and getting his own drinks. On his little visits to the bar, Death would complain about the waitress to the bartender, who in turn shouted at the waitress for reasons that he suddenly couldn't remember. It then took Death a few tries before the bartender could hold the drink information in his head long enough to actually make the margarita. Death thought back to the night before. While he had been standing outside the pub in Ireland, he'd begun to think that quitting might not be one of his best ideas. That was, up until the nice cat, where did the cat go, told Death that he deserved a break and asked if he had ever considered visiting the Bahamas. Despite the fact that the cat was just a cat, and not only that, a talking cat, Death found him very convincing. In fact, the conversation with the cat landed him where he was now, staggering like a baby giraffe up to the beach bar, with the beautiful Bohemian sun reflecting off the radiant clear blue water behind him. Death ordered another margarita from the bartender, this time with a green umbrella instead of a blue one, as he wanted to balance out the colors in his collection. Ah, what freedom to be able to choose my own color of umbrella. The small TV mounted in the corner above the bar featured an overly broad man with fake-looking hair who introduced himself to be Martin Hitchcock, and attempted to report the news. Not that anyone in the Bahamas cared what happened with the rest of the world, but the news was reported nevertheless, just in case anyone in the Bahamas suddenly decided to care what happened to the rest of the world, which probably wasn't sunny and didn't serve margaritas as tasty. The subject Martin Hitchcock reported on was very serious. Death decided to pay attention to the news broadcast for a while for the simple reason that he could. Martin Hitchcock shuffled his papers. The top story again, dead people all over the world got up and walked around today. Martin Hitchcock adjusted his tie and shuffled his papers again for dramatic effect. Death dropped his fresh new margarita into the sand and stared open-mouthed at the TV, which was difficult, as theoretically he didn't have a mouth. Martin Hitchcock shuffled his papers once again, removed a sheet, and using the ancient art of origami, folded it into a swan before placing it next to him on his desk, and then continued. Those occurrences began a little after 11 last night and have continued to shock the nation and indeed the world. The local government agencies have released a notice advising any relatives of the recently deceased to contact their local authorities, as chances are they're not entirely dead yet. Martin Hitchcock then launched into some possible scientific explanations, but by that point, Death had already passed out. Thanks again for listening. And I'm sorry, I lost my last thing I'm supposed to say here. Alright, so this story will be continued. If you'd like to sign up and join the Read Around the World experiment, just head to www.planetkibi, that's planet like you think, KIBI.com. You can find the address in the video description. And I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks, bye.